Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. Baseball America revealed its 2026 preseason All-America teams this morning, highlighted by Florida right-handed pitcher Liam Peterson. Peterson was among those named to the preseason College Pitcher of the Year award watch list. Right now, 55 degrees at 10:01. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
How about Devin Lloyd?
Ball's intercepted. The ball is picked off. Are you kidding me? Devin Lloyd bringing it back again. Along the left sideline. 50, 45, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Such an impactful season. What he meant to our end result was certainly notable. The way in which he operated on a daily, weekly basis was really cool to watch and observe. He committed himself to being the best version. The connection between him, the coaching staff was real.
Devin Lloyd picked it off. He's running it back to the 25. Still on his feet. Pulled to the ground inside the 15-yard line. What a play by Devin Lloyd. He takes it away.
A little bit more on the quieter side, early getting to know him, and then you talk to him and you hear a very mature dude, and just he had specific goals that he wanted to accomplish this season, and I thought he attacked it in the exact right way.
Ball fumble. The ball came out and the Jags have it. The ball came out and Devin Lloyd has it. It was a fumble and went right to Devin Lloyd, and the Jags take over. What a gigantic play by the Jaguars defense.
To me, he's just he's a true three-down linebacker. He has a very unique skill set in that he could play on the edge, early down. If you lined him up, outside as an open 5 technique on a tackle or a 9 technique on a tight end, he can do a really good job there, setting the edge, zone dropping, all that stuff. He can play off the ball early down because he sees it pretty good. He can run and hit. He does a good job in the pass coverage.
Devin Lloyd, the takeaway machine, got another one inside the 30 of the San Francisco 49ers.
He entered camp in a position battle. And he wasn't gifted that linebacker position, even though he was a first-round draft pick a couple of years ago. Devin Lloyd has been incredible.
He should probably be Defensive Player of the Year. His impact has been unfathomably important for this team.
That's not just a depoy argument right there. That is an MVP argument.
The ball came out. The ball came out, and everybody's trying to jump on top of this. Let's see who's got it. It's Jacksonville's football. Devin Lloyd's got the ball.
I just want to be where God wants me to be. At the end of the day, that's where I want to be, and I'm waiting on that answer from him. Like I said, I haven't put any thought to it. Everything's been, about trying to be the best player I can be for this team this year, and ultimately, I want to be where God wants me to be.
Now, Jaguars Today on 1010XL with Mike Dempsey, Fat Tony, and RJ Saunders.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome in. It's Wednesday. I couldn't remember that about 5 minutes ago, Tony, what day of the week it was. Does it really matter when you get into the offseason? It does to somebody. We're here, so that's good enough from 10 to noon today. Good morning, everybody. Glad you are along. Yes, Devin Lloyd has a very particular set of skills, and we need to get good mileage out of that open while it is still relevant to Jacksonville Jaguar fandom right now.
Yeah, I'll say, it's always fun to hear that particular open that you put together for us, RJ.
Did a great job.
That first one, which I know is the Kansas City game, right, is the interception return on that. The noise in that building, holy cow. Like, you talk about a party just popping off, like in a moment for a group of 60,000 of your closest friends and you, right? To just go absolutely bananas. And it comes across every time we play that particular highlight. It is so loud in that building in that moment. It's fun to hear.
It is. There's no question about it. Devin Lloyd, as an alternate, is in the Bay Area for the Pro Bowl festivities and said no contact with the Jags, at least in terms of contract talk to this point. Does that surprise you at all, Tone?
Not all that much.
Me either. I don't know. Like, I think the Jags need to get their cap in order first and figure out what moves they're going to make and know exactly how much capital they're dealing with. Devin Lloyd is making noise like he would love to be back in Jacksonville, right? But he's not crazy. And who could fault him if some team could pay him multiple $1 million a year more than the Jaguars are able to reasonably afford? He said he takes pride in being able to do what he did last year in any defense. They came in, they knew that I had a skill set, and as the weeks progressed, they really started allowing me to utilize that skill set more and more to play at the level that I'm playing. So it's always great when a defensive coordinator believes in you. He talked about having his girl here, his mom. He's got some time now invested.
He's comfortable
on the first cut. He's comfortable here. He likes the team. He fits in the locker room. All that's good. And the franchise tag number for a linebacker is $28 million. So he's not being kept that route for the Jaguars. Can they find a way to bring him back? I don't know many people that are optimistic on that front, but I'd love for it to happen. What a great surprise that would be. Is Devin Lloyd about as good as any player you could add to this roster this year, reasonably, with the resources that they have right now, considering he's not under contract for 2026?
Well, he's only the 100th best free agent, right?
Well, yes, if you want to. Who was that, PFF's list? Whose list was that?
I forget
Bad
who
list.
that even was.
No, I mean, I'm answering my own question here, but the answer is yes, because I don't think it's likely that you're going to get an established game-wrecking defensive tackle. I could be wrong about that. And, I'd have to see what the price tag is on that. I can't get my head wrapped around the idea of Devin Lloyd being back. Love for it to happen.
Right.
Not anticipating
And
that.
there's no, like with Devin Lloyd coming back, it would be, I wonder what his role would be for whatever free agent you bring in. With Devin, you know what it is.
Freaking MVP of the defense.
Right.
I mean,
like you know exactly what that is if they're able to work something out to bring him back. If they brought in a free agent, you would have an idea of this is how we want to use him, but you don't know.
You see that stat. Now, quarterback hits, pressures, all that. We love sacks, right? But only the second guy after Levante David in the last 20 years to have 10 quarterback hits and 5 interceptions in the same season. That's crazy talk right
That's
there.
how you get to be a second-team All-Pro.
It is, right? And it's a little bit of, okay, they're guys with 8, 9, 10 interception seasons that don't rush the quarterback, or, you don't have your Myles Garrett's of the world dropping back into coverage. So it would take probably a linebacker, maybe a blitzing safety to do something like that. But Devin Lloyd did it. All right, we got to get on time here because we've got a lot coming up today. We're going to talk about the hated Tennessee Titans, although the youth vote rallied and put Houston last week in as the most disliked team from a Jaguar fan base perspective, but Tennessee was a strong second in there. What does their offseason look like? Well, we know what their coaching staff, at least the top of it, is going to look like at head coach and offensive and defensive coordinators. What about the future of Cam Ward? Could Jeffrey Simmons be a trade piece this offseason? What are the needs? Teresa Walker is going to join us from the Associated Press coming up here in less than 10 minutes. And then our man Tony Pauline in hour number 2 is going to break down his observations from the East-West Shrine game, the Senior Bowl, give us a little bit of a baseline for draft prep. By the way, he's got Michigan pass rusher as 56th overall player. I always look at that. Not that you have to draft the 56th overall player on anyone's list because you have the 56th pick, but I just thought it was maybe a little kismet right there. And not Shad's yacht. That was the way it played out there. So we'll be learning some of these names along with you along the way, but Derek Moore is a pretty highly regarded guy, and that's who he's got ranked there. I'll take a 6'3.5", 264-pound edge rusher to add to the mix. RJ Saunders, you good in there, man?
Yeah, man. What's the haps?
I don't know. Traffic woes today, I feel like.
Looky-loos, man. I can't stand them.
You got an accident out there and people were just rubbernecking or what?
Yeah, I can't stand that. PSA, if RJ's on the road, like we've seen accidents before.
Get out of the way.
I'm sure you'll see him again. It's not like you need to analyze. It's not like you're on 1010XL or one of the news stations we have here around town giving us the play-by-play of what happened. You see a car, you see the airbags have deployed and everything like that. Move it along, fellas. Just move it along.
I never understand why, when the accident's on the other side of the median, that anyone slows down.
Yeah.
On the complete other side of the highway. But I digress. All right.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on? We got to check out what's going on. Whoa!
Here's what's going on. Let's break down the Titans, and I mean break them down into tiny little bits that cannot be reassembled. But Teresa Walker covers the team for the Associated Press. She joins us next. If you want to get in today, 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC hotline. Also, same number works for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hit us up on the socials at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at R_has_no_J, and stream us on YouTube, Facebook, or X. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. After the Frangie Show, Rick Ballou carries the conversation into the night.
That's a voice I know anywhere.
All the sports talk and hot topics you need to know about.
You are the subject of much debate.
Then it's Hacker After Dark, evenings on 1010XL.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Ace Carline here for Atlantic Infinity, and yes, I'm still loving my new QX60. Right now, you can lease one or lock in just 1.9% financing for 60 months, and every new Infinity comes with the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's over $7,000 in added value. That's one of many reasons why I bought mine there. No pressure, no games, just a great experience. Make your next ride an Infinity from Atlantic Infinity. Visit AtlanticInfinity.com or the showroom near Atlantic and St. John's Bluff.
Hello, I'm Ed Jackson, president of Ned Jackson Income Tax. Ned Jackson Income Tax has been preparing tax returns in Jacksonville for over 80 years. Our tax preparers at Ned Jackson Income Tax have years of knowledge and experience to help you get your highest possible tax refund and are fully trained on all IRS updates, including the One Big Beautiful Bill. Visit one of Ned Jackson's 4 locations, including our downtown office at 255 North Liberty Street. That's Ned Jackson Income Tax, 356-0349.
How will they get ready for the biggest game of their life? Dig deep into the strategies and game plans as we gear up for the football finale. 1010XL's coverage of the biggest game of the season is brought to you by Hall & Sons Plumbing and Window World of Northeast Florida.
It's Cancer Prevention Month, and Ackerman Urology reminds you to stay ahead of prostate, bladder, and kidney health. Get a yearly checkup, ask about a screening, and make self-checks a habit. To make an appointment at one of 4 locations, visit AckermanUrology.com.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
When persistent plumbing problems leave you feeling flushed, don't panic. Call Roland Reich. They quote all pricing in advance, so your only surprise is how quickly they'll solve your issue. Roland Reich Plumbing, plumbingjacksonville.com.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I went to the branch on 210 to get my car loan and had a fantastic experience. I got a great rate and was in and out. The online banking services are also outstanding. Depositing checks through the mobile app is fast and efficient. First Florida Credit Union was voted Best Credit Union in the Best of Bold City Community Choice Award awards for 3 years running, and it's easy to see why. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Checkmate.
I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, company mascot at your service.
There are 2 important steps to installing the perfect garage floor. The 2-stage coating application, sure, but nothing is more important than preparing the floor. Our team uses diamond grinding machines to grind your floors to a smooth, level finish. Only then can we...
Hold on! You grind garage floors with perfectly lovely diamonds?
No, Chester. We grind floors to perfection using the very best ugly diamonds. Too ugly for jewelry, but perfect for the grinding pads we use to prep the surface.
Perfect preparation and application. Now that's a perfect marriage.
Ugly diamonds?
Check. Perfect preparation?
Check. Smooth, gorgeous, gleaming floors that really catch your eye? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. Everything you need to know about the Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, Jaguars today. Mike Dempsey and Tony Smith here with you. Took a peek at the Houston Texans offseason last week. The Colts still to come, but today I want to talk a little bit about the Tennessee Titans, who've been covered for quite a while and very well by Teresa Walker of the Associated Press, a 5-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year. Teresa, good morning. Thanks for a few minutes. How are you?
I am good. How are you all this morning?
We're doing very well. I mean, I'll say this. Tennessee, we'll see how it works out. You never know. But they have been lauded in most NFL circles for at least the top of the brain trust that they put together with the coaching staff. Robert Saleh, universally acclaimed as one of the better hires of the cycle. Brian Daboll, Gus Bradley coming in to coordinate. We've got a lot of familiarity with a couple of those guys here in Jacksonville. What do you make of the decisions and moves they were able to do to fill the head coaching and primary coordinator spots, Teresa?
Well, they've gone with a ton of experience, and it's a stark contrast to what we saw the last 2 years with Brian Callahan. He was a first-time head coach, had never, even though he was offensive coordinator at Cincinnati, he'd never called plays. So he was a first-time coordinator. He brought Nick Holtz up from Jacksonville. Nick, was the coordinator, but again, he didn't call plays. When Callahan handed off the play calling this last season before being fired, he gave it to Bo Hardegree, not Nick Holtz. And when they did fire Brian Callahan, his dad Bill was following. Bill Callahan, as offensive line coach, is probably the most experienced guy on the staff. Well, he followed his son out of building. They had to turn to a guy in Mike McCoy who's been around, another guy familiar to Jacksonville, but he had only been in the building since like February, and suddenly you're turning to him as your head coach, and he'd been a head coach before, but it had been a decade. So it was just, there was not a ton of experience on that coaching staff, period. And now you've got head coach, former head coach, this guy. I mean, it's a staff that's just loaded with experience, and we'll see how that turns out. But let's face it, they're not going to be surprised when they see something in a game because they've all been there. Now, you can look at their records and, as head coaches, there's not a lot of success, but they have been there. And that was my question to Robert Saleh last week when introduced. What did you learn with the Jets? He said it'd take hours to go over that. So we'll see just how much these guys have learned now that they get another chance in a different venue. But, guys, the fact that they've got the most cap space in the NFL. Mike Bergonzi is the guy who, in his second year as a GM, in his first, he got Cam Ward, a rookie class that played the third most games in the NFL. So it's like he had a really great first draft. Now he's got the 4th overall pick, the most cap space. I'm really curious to see how much of a big step forward can Mike Bergonzi with Robert Saleh take this year with the resources they certainly have.
All right, before we get to some of the particulars on some of this personnel here, I saw Harold Landry was asked about this during Super Bowl week. What was the culture like? in Tennessee, and he kind of didn't want to go there. Just like, let's say, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything, was kind of the way I took it. Maybe I'm overblowing that. You were around for the last couple of years covering this team. Did they have a culture issue, or is just good culture follows winning? You know what I mean? Like, can you have good culture if you're not winning football games?
You can. I mean, let's face it. Mike Vrabel, his last 2 seasons in Tennessee, he had a losing record. Titan fans who are a little salty like to say, well, look at his record the last 2 years. He was still greeting players at the locker room like he's doing in New England after he did the same thing when he won 2 AFC South titles here. So you can have a certain amount of culture, but let's face it, winning, losing absolutely affects everything. And, after these last 2 seasons, going through Brian Callahan and an interim coach with just 6 wins, Jeffrey Simmons was saying, I want somebody who can come in and be a leader, who can help hold guys accountable, have a vision. There wasn't specifics. It's like, doesn't have to be a defensive guy or an offensive guy. Give me a leader. And so with Robert Saleh, that's a guy who, he comes in the door and he's like, we're going to play fast. We're going to be violent. And, so he's certainly setting a tone. And then he told us beat writers, it's like, I'm going to hold guys accountable, but I'm not calling them out in public. Especially today, players don't like to get called out by a coach at a podium. So, but players just want to know that you're going to hold your teammates accountable when they screw up. And Robert Saleh is going to be doing that. So we'll see how much that helps. But again, winning games helps so much.
Did what the Titans got out of Cam Ward in his rookie season match your expectations for him going into the season last year?
Yes, but I'll say this. I think it was a low bar. This team has churned through quarterbacks so often in recent years. And he joined, I think it was just the 6th or 7th season in the last 29 for this franchise that a quarterback started every single game in a season. And, yes, there were a couple of times in there that the quarterback rested the last game because they were going into the playoffs. But just being able to have a guy start every game was huge for this franchise. So, he got to learn, and we saw him grow. This offense got better in the final weeks of the season. Well, the coaching staff finally started running the ball. You got a rookie quarterback. What's the best way to help him? Run the ball. And Brian Callahan simply refused to do that in the first, during his tenure with Cam Ward, which never made sense. They didn't have a ton of receiving options, and you're trying to throw deep all the time. And it felt like the run game was an afterthought. Once they started running the ball, Cam Ward got better. He cut down on the interceptions. Yes, he was still sacked a ton, but even those were reduced in the final weeks of the season. So we saw growth out of that young man, and we saw availability. And when you're able to watch and play games over and over and over, it's the most valuable tool that there is.
Teresa Walker of the Associated Press on the Titans beat here. Teresa, you mentioned that running game. Look, they've got cap space, so they don't have to do this, but they could save over $7 million by moving on from Tony Pollard. They could also save money by moving on from Calvin Ridley. What about those two? Are they part of the future of the Tennessee Titans organization?
Well, I'll say this. I think Calvin Ridley, yes, he had a 1,000-yard receiving season his first year, but, injuries have just limited him, and his touchdowns are just anemic. He didn't have one this last season before he got hurt. He had one 100-yard receiving game before being put on IR. Another guy to keep an eye on as a cap casualty, L'Jarius Sneed. Doesn't have an interception in 2 seasons. He's barely played, spending most of his time on injured reserve. Both of those two have outs in their contract. Those are the first two that should be cut. Now, we'll see if Mike Bergonzi and the Titans agree to that. Tony Pollard, productive. I mean, he's a guy who you get him out there, and that line showed they could block for him. They've got enough holes to fill that he and Lloyd Cushenberry, another guy from their big free agent, spending from 2 years ago, is another guy who has an out in his contract this offseason. I don't think there's a huge rush to get rid of Pollard and Cushenberry unless you believe you can upgrade at those positions. They need wide receiver, edge rusher, tons and tons of cornerbacks. So at this point, fix the holes you absolutely have to fix, and then deal with the others later. So, but Ridley and Sneed, If they're not gone before the new year starts in March, I'll be stunned simply because you're paying too much for guys who aren't doing anything.
It seems like the last couple of years leading into the offseason trade deadline in the NFL that Jeffrey Simmons' name pops up a lot, but obviously he's still a part of the Titans organization right now. What are the chances in your mind that Jeffrey Simmons will be traded in this offseason?
None. In fact, I expect him to possibly get an extension and a pay raise, because this is a guy that he was at the news conference when they introduced Saleh. He made sure to talk to him for a minute as Saleh was heading out of the room to meet with us beat writers. He was everything the Titans wanted him to be last year. He was a leader off the field, on the practice field. You know, there was a report that, you know, he kind of stopped practice at one point. It's like, that was not great. Let's do it again. And then you saw the production on the field, a career year with sacks, first team All-Pro. I mean, the guy has just shown that he knows how to get better. And, you know, the way he came in losing around 30 pounds, guys, that's what allowed him to come back from a hamstring injury really, really quickly. You don't get rid of a guy like that. You build around him. And everything the Titans have said, that's the plan.
We saw Tim DK really have an excellent rookie year, return specialist, but really his role as a receiver grew. We had him pretty close to us in Gainesville, Florida. What did you see from him as a rookie, and will he continue to be a big part of the passing game as they look to upgrade that receiving core in addition to his special teams role?
Well, the good thing for special teams is they kept John Bones Fossil as special teams coordinator. So with that and Tim DK, expect that part to continue. That said, that to me is their biggest need on offense is wide receiver. You know, they need to go get at least two in free agency, maybe three, and then get at least another one or two in the draft. So if that happens, you know, DK's experience and chemistry with Cam Ward built with so many 5:30 a.m. meetings at the facility will help. But he and Alec Iamaner should not be carrying as much of the load as they had to for this offense in the 25 season. So they need help. They can be more effective if they're not being asked to do as much. And I think that the offense will benefit a lot more, and they'll be able to benefit more because guess what? It was easy enough to scout this offense. Stop those two guys and Chigakwonkwo and for the last half of the season, and you're good to go.
You just mentioned wide receiver as the clear biggest need on offense for the Titans. What are the other big needs for the Titans as they get into offseason mode?
Edge rusher is at the top. So if you can do some help yourself in free agency on receiver and cornerbacks, focus that fourth pick overall.
Yep.
If it's not on an edge rusher, I think everyone in Tennessee will be stunned. So avoid the mock drafts that say they're going to take another offensive lineman. You know, they'll probably get one at some point in the draft, but that is not their top need this offseason, despite all the sacks. So, you know, wide receiver, cornerback in free agency, absolutely at the top of the shopping list. The more, the better.
All right. Well, do you think we've seen it this year? Two teams that were not in the playoffs going to the Super Bowl. I'm not asking you if the Titans are going to be in the Super Bowl next year, but can this team play legitimate, meaningful football in the month of December in 2026 and have a chance to make a postseason berth?
It's the NFL. This is exactly what Pete Rozelle wanted. And absolutely. I mean, let's face it, looking at the AFC South coming into this last season, did anyone really think, you know, Texans were the odds-on favorite, got two teams into the playoffs from the AFC South? Absolutely, because, you know, you are rewarded in this league for making the right decision, and you are penalized hard if you make the wrong decision. So if the Titans can get this roster going the right way to go with this new coaching staff, they absolutely can get things turned around quickly.
All right.
Plus, they have the last place schedule.
Oh, well, that is true. Although it only impacts, well, I guess 3 games now when you got the extra NFC game. So it can be a difference maker. There's no question about it. Well, down here, we're not going to root for any of that success, Teresa. And we know you're just an impartial observer as well, but we appreciate the insights that you have covering that team on a daily basis. You can find Teresa on the X platform at Teresa M. Walker. No H in Teresa. She spells it the good way. Teresa, thank you for your time this morning. And hopefully when the draft draws nearer, we can circle back with you and see what kind of holes the Titans plugged in free agency.
Be my pleasure. Thank you so very much, guys.
All right, there you go. Teresa Walker of the Associated Press. Tony, when we come back, yeah, look, experience? Absolutely. Is it good experience that Robert Saleh, Brian Dable, and Gus Bradley have as former head coaches that they're bringing to the party in Nashville? We'll discuss that and more. Got a pretty good one going on today's poll question, by the way, so I'll mention it now, and I think I missed the opportunity to do that at the top of the show, but you're not missing the opportunity to vote on it. 5 years from now, which of these will be the closest to describing where Tennessee Titans quarterback Cam Ward is in his career? Will he be A, a multi-time Pro Bowler, B, on a second contract with Tennessee, but maybe not top of the league type guy? Will he be C, starting for another team, or D, somebody's backup? That could be in Tennessee. It could be somewhere else. So those are your options. You can vote at MD_1010XL. Thanks to Teresa Walker. We'll turn our attention to picking apart that coaching staff when we return on Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Give a unique gift this Valentine's Day to that special person in your life with a custom-made candle or body care product from Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jax Beach.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
This is the kind of sandwich you don't rush. French dip at Firehouse Subs. Premium roast beef loaded with caramelized onions, melted provolone cheese, and topped with Italian seasoning. Stacked on a toasted garlic bread roll with hot au jus for dipping. For a limited time at Firehouse Subs.
Roses are red, Florida gets hotter, and your AC is about to ruin the mood. If your system barely survived last summer, now's the time to replace it before the real heat comes back swinging. Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning makes it easy. No surprises, no runaround. And with our Sweetheart AC deals, get $750 off a new AC system when you install by March 15th. Fall in love with an AC that keeps it cool without the stress and call now for a free estimate. 904-862-6769, duckrooter.com.
It all begins with Speed Weeks, presented by Advent Health, February 11th. And culminates with a Daytona 500 on February 15th. This week, you can win a pair of tickets to the Daytona 500. What driver won the 2025 Daytona 500? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010. What driver won the 2025 Daytona 500? Text the driver's last name answer to 641-1010 for a chance to win tickets to the Daytona 500, February 15th.
Attention men and women. If you'd like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Hey gang, Hickett here. Guys, listen up. Valentine's is coming. You want to be a hero this year with something really romantic? It's easier than you think at Beards Diamonds. Beards has put together a stunning selection of timeless, affordable jewelry she'll absolutely love. Dazzling rings, sparkling earrings, elegant pendants and bracelets set with brilliant diamonds or colorful gemstones. Classic gold that never goes out of style. And you can't beat the wow factor of top brand designer jewelry. They got it all at Beards. And here's the best part right now. Save up to 40% on all diamond stud earrings, pendants, and tennis bracelets. You know, cards, flowers, and candy are sweet, but nothing says I love you forever like a sparkling gift she'll wear and cherish every single day. Plus, Beards is your local Jacksonville jeweler, family-owned and community-strong for more than 45 years right here in the St. John's Town Center, not some Wall Street chain. Hurry in today. Don't wait. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center. Get up to 40% off diamond earrings, pendants, and tennis bracelets.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows. and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, more Jaguars today on 1010XL.
RJ, who is Emmanuel Acho toiling for these days?
He has his own independent podcast.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy, they'll have TJ Huzmanzada on from time to time called Speak Easy.
Speak Easy. All right.
That's what they used to call bars.
I think that's what they're trying to go off of. Like it's kind of
They
that's
sit around
supposed to be that
getting
kind of a
drunk
setting.
and running their mouth and
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, I run my mouth. I just do it sober is the only slight difference. So, like, I think Emmanuel Acho is – he likes to be provocative, right, with his takes. The whole Shedeur Sanders shouldn't listen to Todd Monken thing was just about one of the dumbest comments. I mean, the year is young, but I might give that the top dumb comment in sports so far in the calendar year 2026. But he was impressed with the hirings that the Tennessee Titans have made, and along the lines of something we asked Teresa Walker, he thinks this is a team that's a candidate for a big year 2 turnaround under Cam Ward and company.
It's a hot take, but I'm curious how hot y'all think it is. The Titans are assembling what I would call a dream staff right now. Robert Saleh, head coach. Brian Daboll, OC. Gus Bradley, if y'all remember, who helped coordinate some of those Legion of Boom defenses. Obviously, it was Dan Quinn, but Gus Bradley helped coordinate some of those Legion of Boom defenses. And then John Fossil is a special teams coach, former Dallas Cowboys special teams coach, amongst others. This staff, to me, is pretty iconic. Cam Ward showed a lot of flashes. So, T, let me ask the chat, Shady, let me ask y'all, is it possible that the Titans are going to be this year's Patriots? That next year's Titans, Cam Ward in his sophomore season, Drake May, his sophomore season, Robert Saleh, his second tenure as a head coach, Mike Vrabel, his second tenure as a head coach. Is it possible that next year's Tennessee Titans team are this year's New England Super Bowl attending Patriots team? TJ, what do you think?
The Tennessee Titans, with this staff, they got a chance.
I mean, the Titan staff is a top 5 staff.
At worst,
football.
top 7. At worst.
Yeah. So, like, if you got a staff like this and a number 1 quarterback, you should be able to get to the playoffs. And the division, not that it's open, but it got cracks in it. Colts got cracks in it. Texans got cracks in it. Jags got cracks in it.
Well, if we got cracks, what the hell do they have?
Right.
A gaping expanse? I mean, did Mike Vrabel just learn how to coach when he got to New England? Because that team was not good under him his last couple of years. As we talked about with Teresa Walker, Harold Landry basically refused to comment when asked about what the culture is like in Tennessee, what he played under for the last couple of seasons. Iconic? This is an iconic coaching staff? What have any of these guys ever done successfully as a head coach in the NFL?
Right.
I mean, Robert Saleh had some really good defenses, but some really bad overall Jets teams when he was there. Gus Bradley was statistically one of the handful of worst coaches in the history of the National Football League. Brian Daboll has orchestrated a total of 2 top 12 offenses in his entire career in the National Football League. But because they've coached before, they're iconic and they're a top 5 staff now. I'll tell you what, and you can call me a homer all you like. Give me the staff that has proven that they can come in and turn a 4-win team into a 13-win team like Liam Cohen and company did. Are you kidding me, Tony? I mean, look, I'll give you this. The best thing they have, Saleh took over the Jets as head coach, and their defense was terrible in the first year. You got to give somebody a chance to uproot some of the mediocrity and get his guys in there fine. Yeah. And so after that, third fourth, third, and third in terms of defensive ranking. He did a tremendous job with the defense. Wasn't a great overall head coach. Brian Daboll has had, as we said, 2 top 12 offenses ever. Gus Bradley has not had a top, I think, 10 offense since 2020 when he was 10th then. I mean, this is not the Legion of Boom days anymore. He had one really good defense here in Jacksonville, statistically. And, I mean, I don't get it. Just because they all have experience as head coaches, is anybody beating down Gus Bradley's door to run it back for the second opportunity? I know he keeps getting hired.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just...
He's a good coach.
He's a fine coach.
Yeah.
But
and he should be a defensive coordinator. in
the
league.
numbers
Like,
at
that's
the
what
end
he
of the
should do.
day just don't indicate that he's been anything special, particularly lately.
Like, the iconic is absurd, right? To use that word to describe this coaching staff for the Titans is absurd. Is it better than they've been the last couple of years? Yeah, I'll grant you that, right? Do I think they're going to be in better hands now than they were last year going into the season? Yes. I would agree with you to that point that they ought to be better off. I think that Robert Saleh will get everything you can possibly get out of whatever they're going to have on defense, right? Their best player is on that side of the ball, and he will use that to his advantage. I believe that kind of thing is a reality for the Tennessee Titans. Do I think because they brought in Brian Daboll that he's going to unlock some craziness for Cam Ward? No. I don't think Robert Saleh's unlocking anything.
I think he can help him develop.
Right.
I'm not saying Brian Daboll
But it's not
couldn't be an offensive coordinator in the
right.
NFL.
It's not that you hire him and it's like, well, now you got to watch out. It's like, oh, they hired Brian Daboll.
I mean, Tone, in his time with the Giants, okay, they had Daniel Jones, right?
Yes.
Daniel Jones played like an MVP before he got hurt last year. Why couldn't Brian Daboll bring that out in Daniel Jones?
Yeah, they got to the playoffs in 22. He won Coach of the Year that year, and they made the playoffs in 22.
Okay, they had the 24th ranked offense that year, too. Yeah. And then they had, the next year, the worst offense in the entire league. Then they were 28th, and then 23rd. Those were his ranks as the head coach on offense. But that's his primary. It'd be like, you look at Liam Cohen, and you say, well, the defense is ranked whatever. Yeah, but that's Anthony Campanile, right? Because that's kind of how it is. You focus more on, yes, you're in charge of everything, but your strength, your focus, your game day, if you're calling one side of the ball, it's your expertise. So that's what you lean on. Look, I'm not trying to just bury my head in the sand. Yeah, Tennessee's probably going to get better. They do have a ton of cap space. They do have a quarterback who did play, if you really watched in the last month of the season, a lot better than he did with not much in the way of weapons. But they've got to plug a lot of these holes, and then that chemistry's got to work. I saw a lot of people talking about George Pickens coming in there. Are you confident that if George Pickens goes to Nashville on a huge $35 million a year contract, that he is going to be a focused and locked-in George Pickens, which we've really only seen once when he was in a contract year?
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, that's just one example of a guy right there. And again, Vrabel did maybe he did a hell of a job coaching them. They were like a 7-win team when last we saw Mike Vrabel in Tennessee. And then all of a sudden he takes a year off and he's in the Super Bowl with Drake May. So I don't know. We'll I'm not.
It's just too much.
If the Titan, right? It's over the top. You don't. And he did say, I'll give him credit, Hacho. This is a hot take.
Yeah.
And you may not agree with it, but anyway, I just thought that was.
I agree that it's hot.
Yes, it's a little over the top right there. All right, so again, weigh in on today's question of the day. Cam Ward, the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, where do you see him 5 years from now? We gave you several options out there on social media. Hour 2, we're going to have Tony Pauline joining us at about 20 after the hour, about 35 minutes from now. Talk a little Senior Bowl, East-West Shrine, and some of the prospects we need to start familiarizing ourselves with as the Jaguars don't pick currently until fairly deep into round number 2. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, RJ Saunders here with you. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. There's a reason why people love to listen to play-by-play on the radio.
This is unbelievable what we're witnessing. I'm serious.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on 1010XL. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
It's free window February with Renewal by Andersen. Right now, when you buy 4 replacement windows, you get the 5th for free. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 1 year. This offer expires February 28th. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com. Schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 4th, 1991, the Baseball Hall of Fame Board of Directors voted 12-0 to bar Pete Rose from the Hall of Fame due to his betting on games while he was a player and a manager.
Jacksonville, you voted, and Baker Glass came out on top. The Bold City Best Awards are all about locals choosing their favorites, and you picked them for Best Auto Glass and Best Glass and Mirror Service.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%. It's the lowest in years. Hey, gang, Prosser here. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time, or you can keep your primary mortgage intact, get cash out, equity with Loan Pronto's rapid equity loans. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards, some car loans, and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now. See what option works best for you, but don't miss this big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous rapid equity loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks. You may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 904-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com. No hard credit pull. 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. APR for well-qualified buyers.
Visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it work. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Hi, I'm Sarah Alford, CEO for Big Brothers Big Sisters Northeast Florida. With the support of the players, we're creating mentoring relationships that help young people reach their full potential. Only 34 days until the players.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Jaguars today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Yeah, cap space doesn't always equate to anything, right? Somebody's got $100 million seemingly every year. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to use it wisely, Tone, as we continue along here on Jaguars today. Although Seattle and New England, 2 of the 4 biggest spenders in free agency this past year. You can't find a quarterback in free agency, well, unless it's Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones. Or I mean, they're
Sam Darnold the last couple times, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, granted, generally, those quarterbacks that make it to free agency have flaws. But in the case of Sam Darnold, it was more about they had drafted a young guy behind him. And point being, I hate when the Jags division rivals have all that cap space to play with, right? And I get it, right? I really do understand that splashing names in free agency don't guarantee you anything. But I would like the opportunity to find that out myself. Right? They're splashing names generally for a reason. Now, if you're overpaying on name value on a guy whose best football is 2 years behind him, that's a big mistake. But I don't like the fact that the Titans are flush with cap space. I don't like the fact that they have the 4th pick in the draft. And, Tony, I haven't seen as many of those mocks Teresa Walker was talking about with a wide receiver going to Tennessee. I've seen plenty of them with Reuben Bain going to the Tennessee Titans. And lining up next to Jeffrey Simmons could be an issue with those two guys. If you were the Titans and you could get a haul for Jeffrey Simmons, first of all, what do you think you could get for him? Jeffrey Simmons is available, and we're taking the highest bidder. Who do you think the highest bidder would be? Or what kind of package would that present itself?
If I were the Titans, I don't think I would take anything less than a first plus a starter.
Okay.
Right? Like, that's where the conversation for me would begin, or a couple of first
round
picks.
What are we talking about? Like a replacement, like a defensive tackle replacement starter, or
wide receiver, or something like an upper level kind of player at that position.
Okay.
Not that anyone would offer that kind of thing necessarily for him.
All right, here we go. A.J. Brown used to play for Tennessee back in the day.
Yeah.
They
So
probably and A.J. Brown.
Philly came calling.
If Philly came calling, A.J. Brown for Jeffrey Simmons, what do you have to add, and to which side in the deal?
I think you'd, again, from a Titan side, I'd say you'd have to add at least a first-round pick.
I would too. And people might think that is absolutely crazy, but I can go out there and sign George Pickens and take my chances there and still have Jeffrey Simmons. Yeah. Or I could sign whomever. That might not be A.J. Brown.
Yeah. And that doesn't even get into the complications of whatever attitude AJ would be.
Well, that's another issue. Here's a guy who wasn't satisfied winning the Super Bowl.
Right. Like, that's not necessarily where my head was even at with that. It was just like, this is, and it wouldn't matter kind of a receiver at that kind of level. If you called and said, we're offering him, I'd say, I need that plus a first-round pick. Right? Like, that's where my head would be if I'm on the Titans side of this whole thing. Because I do think you look at where the Titans are right now. You spent the number 1 overall pick in the draft last year on a quarterback. So if you're doing that kind of thing, you didn't see any indication this year that you completely blew it.
No.
By bringing in Cam Ward. So whatever window of opportunity they're going to have is going to be on the back of Cam Ward. Am I going to give away the best player we have, right, so that I can maybe help out a little bit around? It's like, I know Jeffrey Simmons helps. Like, I'm not guessing. I know this guy helps us. We don't have to make a decision beyond that. He's going to help. Just being on the roster and kind of we can build everything else we want to do on the defensive side of the ball around. We have Jeffrey Simmons. So the price for me to not have that comfort blanket anymore, it's going to be a high price.
I think the thing that makes it almost impossible for them to really consider, and Teresa Walker put it at 0% chance that he'll be dealt this offseason, is they have all that cap space. It'd be one thing if you were presently like, we're $10 million over, but we can figure it out, right? And then you've got to go out there and plug all these holes. Right. They have a ton of flexibility. And his cap number this year is going to be $25.5 million, okay? So they're finally upside down. Like, they could get rid of him and save $16 million, but they're not going to do that. Yeah. But what that is that's the window for renegotiating the deal, which could actually lower his cap hit for the next several years. And still have all this money to spend. They're going to bring in 5 or 6 starters and maybe 3 or 4 pretty good ones this year. Yeah. But, that's just the nature of the National Football League. It's cyclical. It doesn't mean they're going to make all the right moves. And again, this dream team coaching staff is going to have to get the best out of him. But he's under contract for 2 more years. Look, if they were going to deal him, they deal him as far away as possible. He'd be going out west in the NFC. Somewhere, along those lines.
It's not going to be here.
It ain't going to be here.
Yeah. Like, Philadelphia would make some sense. It's another conference. We don't have to deal with it all that much. Like, that kind of thing is where, if it's going to happen, that's likely where it's going to happen. And I think at this point that she's probably right. From a Titans perspective, if it was going to happen, I think it would have happened last year.
Right.
Like, if it was going to happen. Right. Like, that's when it was going to happen. They said, nope, we're satisfied with having him here, and I think she's probably right from the perspective too. She's covering it every day. It's more likely they get an extension done than that they move him.
Oh, I think they will get an extension done. And by the way, I just picked Philly because there's talk that A.J. Brown could be on the market. They don't need Jeffrey Simmons, right? And not that they couldn't find a way to use
They're
him.
the kind of team that if we're moving A.J. Brown, if they could get Simmons coming off the back of it, they would do it in a heartbeat.
Yes, they would, right? But they're a team that if you said which teams most desperately need Jeffrey Simmons, they would not be at the top of the list.
No.
Even though they lost Milton Williams. Kind of funny. Yeah. Milton Williams must be the key to Super Bowl success.
Like, that's the kind of move that if it happened, the whole league would just go, ugh. Why do they keep
right?
Why
do you keep giving these level players to the Philadelphia Eagles? By the way, did you see D-Rock's picks for the picks for the Jags? You know how they love to redraft the draft, right? After last year, after Cam Ward, it all went crazy haywire, and Travis Hunter fell to the Jags with the 5th pick, and so he took him, and then he got Jahad Campbell. Imagine if they had Jahad Campbell. Now, maybe Devin Lloyd doesn't have the same impact, but you'd have the in-house replacement ready to step up. Linebacker is a position that the Jags are going to have to add some bodies to, in my opinion, this offseason for sure. All right, coming up, hour number 2, including a visit with our man Tony Pauline on the draft front. Another hour to go. Tony coming up in about 25 minutes from now. Mike Dempsey and Tony Smith here with you, along with R.J. Saunders. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, everybody, Mike Dempsey here for my friends at Dandy Foods. Been talking about Dandy for over a decade. Almost every time, I'll tell you how their delicious products are just satisfying with great pricing, fantastic variety. But you know what? They're a family business serving Jacksonville for almost 70 years now. And probably one thing I don't say enough about this, Dandy is never frozen. Always fresh, delivered fresh. And that's the difference you'll see from other brands out there that are more than likely just thawed out and cold fresh. You're going to tell it when you take that first bite of the bread in a Dandy sandwich. Not all dry and crumbly. It's soft, and nobody wants a dried out sandwich. The Thompson family, the creators of Dandy, they understand that. So when you see the logo with that little dude with the cane, it tells me that I'm going to get a trusted brand, a local brand, and a quality sandwich made with fresh bread, fresh meats and cheeses, all fresh and high-quality ingredients. So if you're hungry in Duval, Dandy is the name to know. So when you are, do what I do and go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. 1010XL.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh,
You hear it too?
what do you hear?
The voice. 1010XL.
He does have a warm, attractive voice, doesn't he?
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday.
On Jaguars Today.
There's joy in every RV journey. Your journey starts at the Jacksonville RV Mega Show, Thursday, February 5th through Sunday the 8th at the Jacksonville Equestrian Center. It's Northeast Florida's largest RV show with hundreds of RVs on display with lifestyle booths. Adults $10, kids under 12 free. Seniors get $1 off Thursday. Military and first responders get $1 off every day. Thursday through Saturday from 10 to 5, Sunday 10 to 4. The Jacksonville RV Mega Show at the Jacksonville Equestrian Center.
Former Jags middle linebacker Tom McManus brings some grit to the ladies of helmets and heels.
You do it as tough as it is possible to do.
Tommy, Lauren, and Taylor.
Backed by Green Law Group. Afternoons 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
The toughest bulls, the bravest riders. For 8 seconds, it's all on the line. Glory or nothing. These are cowboys who face down danger, defy the odds, and push themselves beyond limits most wouldn't dare. This is their world, where legends are made on the backs of ranked bulls. It's bull time, Jacksonville. PBR Bucks into ViStar Memorial Arena February 20th and 21st. Get your tickets now at pbr.com/tickets.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Winter is in full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
It's a dream come true. Today's coverage of National Signing Day on 1010XL is brought to you by Baker Glass and Flame Broiler. Listen all day for updates and find out where our high school athletes will take their talents this fall.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
I'm starting to realize being a homeowner isn't all upside, Jason.
I mean, it does give you a place to live.
Yeah, but now suddenly I need to know the names of all the people I need to look after my house.
Like who?
Like if my air conditioner breaks in the middle of the heat wave, I need to know who I call to fix it.
That's me. You know me.
But what if my water heater dies or my toilet backs up?
That would also be me. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
Okay, fine, but what about my duct cleaning and my water filtration and my sewer drain? Where am I going to find all those guys if something goes wrong? I'm just a guy with a house and a dream and...
This pair of sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing is the only name you need to know. Our club members even get 2 free visits a year, so you know we're there when you need us.
Well, that's cool.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Taylor Dahl for 1010XL. The NCAA baseball preseason All-American teams were revealed by Baseball America, and a pair of Gator pitchers were included, Liam Peterson and Luke McNeely. Peterson also on the Pitcher of the Year watch list, along with infielder Brendan Lawson. Florida starts the season February 13th against UAB. It's 58 degrees at 11:01. Time and temp are brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, hour two's here. Tony Pauline, less than 20 minutes away. Talk a little NFL draft, Super Bowl 60 coming up on Sunday. And look who just popped into the studio. You just heard the wonderful voice of Taylor Dahl moments ago. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. I haven't done an update in a really long time.
I know. I'm like, what are you doing coming in our sanctum?
I feel like I hardly see you guys anymore.
I know. And you're like, we literally are 20 feet away from each other in the morning. Hey, what's up? Yeah. All right. See,
Hey.
see you tomorrow. Okay. Good talk. How do you feel about us encroaching on your R.J. Saunders little kingdom?
I know you stole them from us. It was
We're sharing.
We can share. I guess we can share. I think it's cool. I love RJ, and I think that RJ does a really great job, and so I think that it's fun to kind of see him expand throughout time. I watched him from a little intern to now multiple show producer and hosting his Magic Moment. A lot of stuff going on for him.
Yeah, RJ, are you embarrassed that we're talking nice about you right now? Or?
Totally embarrassed.
All right,
He's
you shouldn't
blushing.
be. You shouldn't be. Look. While we've got you, let's pick your brain here on a few important Jaguar topics for this offseason. Devin Lloyd, Travis Etienne, Monteric Brown. Any chance or likelihood that any of those come back? And if so, what's the likely order?
I feel like Buster seems like the most likely, in my opinion. I feel like Buster, what he's proven this last year, especially with some of the things when he's had to step into some bigger roles this year, has been really fun to watch him progress. And he's been one of my favorite players, especially late in the season to watch. I feel like that may be more manageable.
Did you see the Pro Football Network free agent rankings that had him ranked as the 11th best available free agent?
No, I didn't see that actually.
We were talking about they had Devin Lloyd at 100. By the
what?
way, I know. So, right there, kind of crumple, toss it over your shoulder. But if Buster is really considered, I think he was fourth cornerback on the list, but corners are always in demand.
Yeah.
Wonder if he won't price himself out of the market.
What do you think that number is then?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a hard one to get a feel for.
Yeah.
I think Devin Lloyd's going to come in somewhere around $20 million.
Yeah,
I don't know what Etienne's going to get because there are some decent running backs out there on the market.
Yeah.
I really hope they
Kenneth
figure out
Walker
a way.
right now is one of the ones
Kenneth
that I see
Walker,
sitting right there.
Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
There's another Brees Hall. Yeah, Brees Hall probably top of the list.
Yeah, and I think to me that one is a little unpredictable. I know a lot of the predictions say $7 million. I think somebody's going to pay ETN more than $7 million.
I would take him for $7 million.
Right now, I would say
you
sign
paid
you up.
De'Ami Brown 10. Figure it out.
For 1 year, yeah.
Figure
it out. But I don't see that. I would see more. I'd see a team paying ETN probably nine at least is what I'm kind of seeing. And that tag we've been talking about is around 11. That one's more difficult because I love ETN. And I think that what he was able to do this year in a world where, I mean, everybody was talking about Tank and Tootin coming into the camp, and ETN really proved himself. And I think in the pass catching ability, you see how he helps in that area, especially in a Liam Cohen offense. I mean, you talk about no receiving touchdowns by a running back last year, and then I think he had 6 this year. So that right there, how much that adds. You talk about a running back being a running back, but what he adds at other levels, I think, is huge. But it's also, I think you're seeing running backs come in a little quicker and get going. I mean, the amount of them this last season with the Travion Henderson, and then you go down the list, RJ Harvey's and all of the guys last year that were drafted that came in and played really well. It's hard to kind of justify, I feel like, paying if you have to pay the 11. If you're paying 7, 8, I'd say
it's just
what if you were paying the 11? Right. It's the 1 year.
Yeah,
right?
you just give them the 11
Like, it's just the one. So there may be a number where if we're talking a multi-year deal, then I don't want to go above 8. You know, like that kind of thing, maybe in your head. But if it is just 1 year for $11 million, we already saw what it looks like in the offense. Right, with ETN, it's like, do we really want to turn all that over to Tootin now?
Yeah.
When you can wait a year to turn it over? If it's
give him that 1 more year.
That couple million extra, is it worth it for the 1 year to not have to think about, well, we got to add a running back in the offseason?
Yeah, you're not locking yourself into years of having to commit $11 million to a running back. I do think one of the things we were looking at yesterday, because you talk about that, the pass catching ability and what he was able to do. I give a lot of credit to Liam Cohen in that and how he runs his offenses, because you go to Tampa and it was the same situation. A Rashad White last year had, I believe it was 6 receiving touchdowns, and then this year had 0. So how much had factored into just Liam Cohen and what he does with his backs. Can he do it again with another? Because you saw it with Bucky Irving, and then this year obviously with 2 and 2, how he fit him in really well. That conversation is fascinating, and I would not, in no way be upset if Travis Etienne is on this team next year.
We'd like all these guys back, but the reality is they're probably not going to all be here. Maybe none of them will, about those guys. Rashad White, by the way, another free agent out there. So if you feel like Tootin can handle the 250 carries aspect of it, and if you're looking for more of a third down pass catching specialist, I know people are saying, hey, what about LaQuint Allen? I think LaQuint Allen is good at what he does, but I didn't see him getting anything above what was blocked for him last year. I think Tootin has that
extra ability,
that tackle breaking ability. All right, quickly, question of the day today. We're talking Tennessee Titans in the first hour. Cam Ward, 5 years from now. Okay, you got 4 choices.
Okay.
Is he a multi-time Pro Bowler? Is he on his second contract with Tennessee, but not, that status? Is he starting for another team, or is he somebody's backup, whether Nashville or anywhere else?
Yeah, if you would have asked me this in the first 8 weeks, I probably would have said he's a backup somewhere.
Right.
But the final stretch, I feel like you saw a lot of things, and behind a really bad line, behind probably one of the worst pass catching groups in the NFL, a team that couldn't run the ball very well. He was getting sacked a ton. So all of those things adding together, and he turned into somebody who was pretty much touchdown to interception, even in the beginning, to 8 touchdowns and a pick.
1, I think,
I
right?
think it was only 1 pick. So you really started to see him get a little bit more comfortable. So I probably will go with option 2 at this point in time, based off of how he did down the stretch. A second contract, not anything that you're like, wow, he's one of the best, quarterbacks in the league. But can you win some football games with him? Do you give him that second contract to just try and continue to develop and build around him?
It's crazy now. It's like either
it's the we didn't blow it contract.
Right, but the we didn't blow it, to prove you didn't blow it, you got to pay 50+
That's still
million
a lot of
now,
money.
right? So it's almost like, if you're going to play for us, it's got to be 50, and by that time probably pushing 60 million a year or more. Or if he goes somewhere else, maybe he'll get 20. Right?
You never know.
What's wrong with the 40?
Yeah.
Right in the middle there. Nobody else is going to offer you that.
And we say that now. Who knows in 5 years what these contracts are we're probably going to see the top guys getting 70 around that at this point in time. So who knows
easily
what? Yeah.
in 5 years. If it keeps going up $20 million a year, we're making up ground for those COVID years for sure. All right, what's coming up today on Helmets and Heels?
Yeah, so we're going to get into a discussion. We talked some college football the other day and how the college football landscape is changing, and we are comparing rosters with the portal and the recruiting and how you would rank them through that. So we're going to do similar today in the NFL world of how teams. We're going to look at the playoff teams first, how they built their teams between free agency and trades compared to drafting guys. There's some big differences between some of these teams, like a Packers, for example, drafting almost everybody on their offense compared to some of these other guys. So we're going to look at that today and just kind of see the different ways that these playoff teams have built their rosters and then probably look at the bottom ones and see how not to build your roster right now.
So did I notice Folio Weekly voters love Helmets and Heels?
They
Congratulations.
did. Thank you.
That is awesome.
Yeah, super fun. They have a little ceremony on Friday, so we'll get our award on Friday.
All right, excellent. We also love Helmets and Heels. Thanks for popping in.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, there you go. Sam Nelson, take more days off. All right, there goes Taylor Dahl. We've got Tony Pauline coming up next from Essentially Sports, our first draft segment of the season, and that's straight ahead on Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Now, 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
What did I do?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Go on. Ignorance is bliss. I'm listening to everything you say.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Awaken 180 weight loss.
Jaguars Today, Wednesday.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Hicken here for Surfside Pool. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Go where the air is fresh and nature is your landscape.
Amazing, isn't it?
We go to the great outdoors with Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Favor, and Captain Kirk Waltz on the Nimnicht Outdoors Show every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
San Jose Collision in Mandarin is proud to be an I-CAR Gold Class collision repair facility. That means they meet the industry's highest training standards. Experience the difference at San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Free for life? Just by saying that, you already know I'm referring to Awaken 180. They're the only company providing it. Fast, proven weight loss, and then keep it off thanks to free support for life. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to FloridaHomeAC.com/careers to find out more.
Help your loved one fall back in love with his or her home with a home improvement from the professionals at the Lifetime family.
That's right, Nick. Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovebirds out there. What says I love you more than adding additional space with a glass or screen enclosure that will enhance your home's livability, or brand new floors that dramatically improve the look and feel of your home?
That's right. New outdoor living space from Lifetime Enclosures and beautiful floors from Lifetime Flooring.
Come experience the Lifetime difference. Call or visit one of our showrooms today for our Valentine's Day specials throughout February.
Lifetime Enclosures.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mokama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mokama magic is what it's all about. Mokama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mokama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Tony Pauline just a couple minutes away, although we didn't want to wait to play a little Led Zeppelin in his honor, which is, other than the NFL draft, I don't know much about Tony Pauline, other than he considers himself one of the biggest Led Zeppelin fans in the world, if not the biggest Led Zeppelin fan in the world. But I do know, in addition to, I love the scouting stuff. I love talking about prospects, learning about these guys as we, move towards the NFL draft ultimately in April. But I love the scuttlebutt stuff as much as well. Like, what are you hearing talking to NFL decision makers, and what are you overhearing as you're around all these guys at the Shrine Game, at the Senior Bowl? Because they're talking about who they think is likely to hit free agency, who's likely to get dealt, who's going to get a new contract. That's some of the more interesting stuff to me.
Well, and with Tony Pauline, as we've learned over the years talking to him as we get ready for the draft every year, there's not a prospect that you can name to him that he doesn't have something to say.
Pretty much.
Right? And that's never been more in vogue for Jacksonville than it is right now, because they don't even have a first-round pick, right? So we're starting to talk about prospects when you get to the mid-50s. In this draft, they have 4 of the top 100 picks in the draft this year, but it's a different kind of conversation than it typically is. Obviously, not even that they don't have a first-round pick. They're usually picking in the top 10, top 5 is where we're having the discussions, and that's so much of the draft conversation gets circled around whatever's happening in the first round. We don't have that this year.
Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
All right, the man, the myth, Tony Pauline from now Essentially Sports. Tony, we came out of the break a couple minutes early, so you missed your Led Zeppelin walk-up music, but it was there for you. So just know, we hope you felt that in spirit this morning.
What song was it? I have to ask.
What is the name of that song?
All My Love.
Oh, there you go.
Oh. We got to change that. We got to get some Achilles' Last Stand or Trampled Underfoot or something. That was
taking notes, RJ. Trampled Underfoot, Achilles' Last Stand.
That's right. All of My Love was my wedding song, so we got to move on from that.
Oh dear, have you moved on from that?
No, not at all. But I don't intend to slow dance with you. All
right, that's a fair point. That is a fair point, but we don't know you like that, Tony. We don't get that personal with you, man. Good to have you back for another year. Just give us a quick plug for Essentially Sports and what you're doing, what your duties are with them.
Yeah, well, more draft-oriented stuff with some insider news. So we've got a big board up there. There'll be 560 guys on the big board with scouting reports, a lot of insider news, a lot of more draft-oriented stuff. So getting acclimated, but enjoying it. And I got to tell you, I also enjoyed the Jaguar season. I was rooting for you guys.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, what was your reaction last year when they made the big move to go up and get Travis Hunter? I know we talked a lot about him as a prospect leading up, but they made the big move.
Well, I mean, Hunter's been okay. He got injured. So the bottom line are the results. The bottom line is, if they keep winning and Travis Hunter doesn't exceed or meet expectations, everyone's going to forget about it. But if, they are back drafting in the top 5, the top 10, as they have in the past, and Travis Hunter is okay, people are going to point to that move. I am never a fan of giving away huge amounts of draft capital, but they won the division, they got into the playoffs, and they played good in that first round, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, and really, Tony, you look at it last year, their second pick was Caleb Bransaw, gets hurt in training camp, never gets on the field. Wyatt Milam got hurt in training camp, so that set him back, and he played a little bit, but never, got enough foothold to get a starting job. So the biggest impact they probably got after Hunter went down was from Basil Tootin, and we a lot of discussion around these parts of whether they should let Travis Etienne walk. Maybe they can't afford to bring him back. When you reflect back on your scouting evaluation of Basil Tootin, can he be a lead back in the NFL, in your opinion?
He's a little bit small, but yeah, he is explosive. He is a game breaker. The only reason Basil Tootin went in the 4th round in 2025 and wasn't a top 60 pick was because he was ailing from an ankle injury, which really set him back. So he has that ability to fit that system because he's explosive. He beats defenders into the open field. He's creative. He's a solid pass catcher out of the backfield. I think if they can't sign ATN, the situation is made a little bit easier because Tootin is on the depth chart. The only thing is, like everybody else, he's got to stay healthy.
What players have most helped or hurt themselves the last 2 weeks with the Shrine and Senior Bowls?
Well, I mean, it's funny because I just said the word expectations, and that's what the Shrine and the Senior Bowl is about. It's about players beating expectations, and there were a lot of last minute add-ons. Guys like Alan Herron, the tackle from Maryland, who wasn't on the scouting radar prior to the season, played left tackle, shut down guys like Danny Sutton of Penn State, Logan Fano of Utah. He helped himself. Aaron Hall at the Shrine Bowl, again, from Duke, an explosive one-gap tackle, helped himself. Tyron Montgomery, the receiver from John Carroll. Basically, one of the first reps he took, he smoked Colton Hood, the cornerback from Tennessee, who's expected to be a first-round pick. After that, Max Ianacor, the tackle from Arizona State, helped himself. Lee Hunter, the big defensive tackle from Texas Tech. Darrell Jackson, another defensive tackle from Florida State. Kyle Lewis, the linebacker from Pittsburgh, was absolutely phenomenal for 3 days. He's under 6 foot tall, barely 224 pounds, but he plays like he's 6'5", 250. And Emil Wagner at the Shrine Bowl, the tackle from Notre Dame, very athletic, played both left and right side, really look good. And the tight ends from both games, no spectacular tight end talents, but a lot of guys in that 3rd, 4th, 5th round area that I think could be number 2 tight ends as rookies and eventually develop into number 1 tight end.
Tony, we don't know what we're doing with ourselves over here. We're used to the Jaguars picking generally very high in the first round. The first selection they have on the board at the moment is pick 56. They have 3 third-rounders after some maneuvering last year. So in that day 2 area, tell me where you expect the strengths of the draft to be found.
A lot of off-ball linebackers, a lot of off-ball linebackers, which they may end up needing. So that I think that bodes well for them. Like I said, especially in that 3rd round area, a lot of tight ends. A guy that could develop into a number 1, come in as your number 2 tight end. A lot of real good pass rushers as well. So if they're looking for an additional edge rusher, although as you guys know, they spent a lot of draft capital at that position. I don't know if they're going to do it. You can get a good one in the 2nd, 3rd, and even 4th round, a situational guy that can come on the field in passing situations.
Many of us have interior defensive line at the top of the needs for the Jags going into their offseason. How does that group look going into the draft in general?
Not good. It's one of the weaker positions in the draft. I mean, you don't have any great talent at the top. Peter Woods, Caden McDonald, the guy I just mentioned, Lee Hunter of Texas Tech, will be, I believe, way off the board before the Jaguars are finally called to the clock. When the Jaguars are on the board, you're looking at guys like Christian Miller of Georgia, Dom Orange, who's more of a natural nose tackle from Iowa State, Ray Benny from Michigan, an athletic guy who played relatively well in the Senior Bowl. He's more of your, 4th round, maybe late 3rd round type of guy. overall, it's not a good position at an area that scouts and teams want a lot of talent at this April.
Yeah, Tony, I'm looking, and we're here with Tony Pauline of Essentially Sports. He's our number one go-to draft guy and has been here on Jaguars Today for a number of years. I'm just curious your thoughts on Caleb Banks out of the University of Florida. Now, I don't expect him to be available when the Jags select unless they move up, but Essentially Sports big board has him at number 40. Most places I see him somewhere maybe in the top 25 prospects and like a locked-in first rounder and a lot of mocks. Just give me your evaluation of Banks and what you think he'll do at the NFL level.
Well, I mean, let's go back to my ranking. Too much flash, not enough consistency. Now, he was injured last year, and he played, 2 or 3 games, but you saw that inconsistency at the Senior Bowl, which is what I saw as a junior in 2024. Now, people will say, well, he was inconsistent because he hasn't played that much football. He's tall. He's athletic. He shows some power. He's got good movement skills, but he's very rough around the edges. If you're taking him in the first round, it's because he's a defensive tackle. Excuse me. There's not many available in this draft, and you're betting on his future. I mean, and it's also, like I said, a priority position. He's not playing like a first rounder. He came into the season with second and third round grades from scouts. Has he improved? Maybe. He really didn't get the chance to improve, but he's got a lot of upside. You're drafting him based on what you think he can be 2 or 3 years down the road, not what he's going to do for you in 2026.
How many players will have a first round grade in this draft, and how many players will have a draftable grade this year?
First round grade, it's going to be very weak. I mean, right now I've got 13 guys, maybe 14 guys with solid first round grades. As far as draftable grades, you could have more guys with draftable grades than there are draft slots, only because you're still seeing those COVID guys filter through.
Right.
And because of NIL, guys are getting extra years. So right now, I have draftable grades on 273 players, and there's 255 selections in the draft. So there's going to be depth in the later rounds if you're looking for that dime back, that eighth linebacker, that special teams player. But there's really not a lot of impact at the top compared to, say, last year, where the Jaguars traded up to get one of the few impact players that was available.
Right, which, you look at it now, I don't know how much they had their evaluation of this year's class in mind, but this might have been the year to trade out of the first round. I've heard that, the guy you get at 50 is not going to be that much different than the guy you get at, say, 25, Tony. Is that too much of an exaggeration, or is there some truth to that this year?
Well, I would say this. They traded away, the 25th? It's the 25th pick of the draft, so I would say the guy that you're getting at 25 is not that much different than maybe 40. I don't know if you can go into the 50s, but still, listen, looking back on it and looking at the way this draft is shaping up, so far, you got to say it's a win for the Jaguars.
We don't know yet. We mentioned it briefly, the situation with ETN and whether or not they're going to bring him back, and Tootin, if he does have to step in as the starting running back for the team. When you're looking at what the Jags could look to do at running back in the draft, what running backs do you like on day 3, if that's where the Jags land in addressing?
I mean, again, it depends on the type of back that you want. It's not a very deep draft. Keep an eye on Nick Singleton of Penn State, who came into the season with high grades. He showed that ability at the Senior Bowl, but he was just not good in 2025. He's a guy that could slide. Damon Claiborne out of from the ACC. Again, you're asking day 3. They've got 3 third-round picks, especially late in the round. Damon Claiborne of Wake Forest could be there. Le'Veon Moss of Texas A&M is a 4th-round selection. Explosive guy, but sort of like Caleb Banks, just really needs to put it together. If you're looking for that hammer, if you're looking for that short yardage guy, someone late in the draft, C.J. Donaldson of Ohio State. Overall, after Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame was going to be a top 10 pick, it really falls off the cliff at the position, and there's not a lot of depth there.
All right, Tone, before we wish you good day, and we look forward to many visits with you leading up to the NFL draft, but part of what I love about what you do is your scuttlebutt notes that you post about what you're hearing. Give us maybe what you think is the juiciest veteran player tidbit that you picked up your time rubbing elbows with guys at the Shrine and Senior Bowls.
Well, I mean, it was more about coaching than anything else. And so far, it's turned out right with Clint Kubiak. I know it's Jacksonville. Mike Evans may not be back in Tampa. He may want to go to a team that he feels, it's about a 50-50 chance right now that he feels is ready to win. I guess one thing that I heard really during the season was about ATN. And it was when it looked like the Jaguars weren't going to make the playoffs. And they said, well, Jaguars, if they let him go, they can't re-sign him, look for him to sign with the Chicago Bears. That conversation has changed a little bit, but it's worth keeping an eye on.
No, that's an interesting one. He is notoriously not a cold weather guy. He'll tell you that himself, but we'll see how that all works out. Tony, good to get started with you on the path to the draft once again. All the continued success that you can have at Essentially Sports, and we encourage folks to follow you on X at your name, Tony Pauline, and we'll have better selections from Led Zeppelin for you the next time you're on.
Hopefully you'll have warmer weather, because when I flew in for the Senior Bowl, to Pensacola, it was 20 and freezing. I thought I was back in New York.
Yeah, it's actually supposed to get up to like 71 today, so we're rebounding nicely. But yeah, we're not used to that down here either. Tony, all the best, brother.
Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. There he goes, Tony Pauline, our favorite draft guy around these parts, and some interesting things he said, and an interesting man. Not a great year for defensive tackle, Tony, and unless you're focusing in on one or two guys, it may not be a great year for defensive tackle on the high end in free agency either. We'll take a look at some of those numbers when we return here in a moment. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
For the renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL. There are many ways to experience 1010XL.
The key to this whole thing is their computer.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Get me that computer program.
Yes, sir. At 1010XL.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com.
Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Taylor. Valentine's Day is quickly approaching. Don't fall into the same routine of last-minute grocery store runs, picked-over flowers, and forgettable chocolates. Make a new play this year with a gift from Peterbrook Chocolatier. Choose from beautifully crafted artisan chocolates or a gift basket filled with the perfect mix of sweet, salty, crunchy, and creamy treats. With 15 North Florida locations, you likely drove past one today. Up your game this Valentine's Day with a gift that truly impresses. Find your closest location at peterbrook.com. That's peterbrook.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, celebrating our 49th annual Valentine's Day sale. Come see our hand-picked inventory of thousands of pieces of fine jewelry, diamonds, and gemstones. This Valentine's Day, we have big discounts with jewelry for any budget. And with interest-free financing, you'll get the jewelry you love with a monthly payment you can afford. Monahans will also give you cash for your unwanted gold or silver, or trade it in for new jewelry and get greater value. Monahan Jewelers Valentine's Day sale with big savings in our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Zero Res Month of Love sale. Hick it here. Your air ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. As many as 1 in 5 Americans suffer from allergies caused by particles frequently found in air inside most homes. Not only is indoor air quality an issue year-round, but especially now that allergens such as pollen are coming out of hibernation. Take advantage of Zero Res's February sale. $100 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the 1010 XL or Dan Hickett's best.
Zero Res. Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and this month I want to talk to you about welcoming the winds of change in your life. But so often, when we see the winds of change coming our way, our immediate response is to fight it. Friends, when you see things in your life changing, when the winds of change are coming your way, don't fight it, but embrace it. Recognize that God is stirring you up so that you too can soar like an eagle.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here from the Blue Crab Crab House. February means the Mardi Gras menu returns to the Blue Crab Crab House. Gumbo, shrimp Orleans, blackened redfish, appetizers, dessert, and more. This includes, of course, their regular menu where you get crabs from the Alaskan waters, the Canadian waters, the Southern Georgia waters. It's only at the Blue Crab Crab House. Doors open at 4:30, San Jose, and, of course, Julington Creek Road.
Hey, it's Angela and Brian Wall. How many companies do you know in this day and age that actually want their potential customers to call their competition and get quotes from them?
That's what WonderWorld wants you to do. WonderWorld knows there are other window companies out there, but we also know those other guys. When compared to WonderWorld, they can't offer you the quality at the price that WonderWorld can.
And with Window World, you get the absolute best guarantee there is in the window replacement business.
If anything goes wrong with your new Window World windows, 5 years from now, 10, 15, 50, Window World and I will be there to fix it for you. You get peace of mind with Window World, and to top it off, Window World windows increase the value of your home. So look what you get with Window World. Quality windows, low price, the best guarantee in the business, energy savings, and an increase in the value of your home. A win-win for you.
Call Window World today and get your free in-home estimate or see them online at windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World. Simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
I'll put a spin on it, Tony. The golden moment is, I guess, if there are only 12, 13, 14 guys with first-round grades this year, maybe this is the year to not have a first-round pick. And, by the way, Tony Pauline's not the only one who's saying that.
No.
Others are saying this is, usually there aren't 32 guys that get a, quote, first-round grade, right?
I think I saw Matt Miller said it may be as little as 9.
Yes, right? Like 9, 10, 11, a dozen, whatever the case may be. You weren't going to get one of those guys without a major pay to go up the board. I just looked out of curiosity just to see, because I have heard if you have a pick in the middle of the 20s, might not be that much different than a pick 30 picks later.
Mm-hmm.
Tony said, more it's like a 25 to 40 thing. There's a wide swath. So Jack's would have been picking at 24. Okay, that pick on the chart is worth 740 points. So looking at pick 40, the equivalent pick type player that you might be able to get. For instance, Caleb Banks was ranked on their big board as the 40th player. Again, I'm not fixated on Caleb Banks. I'm just intrigued a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, the 40th pick's worth 500. Okay, so for the Jags to come up and get that from 54 or 56, excuse me, that's worth 340. So you would have to add the middle of their 3 third-rounders, the 88th pick in the draft. You'd still be 10 points short. So pick 201 would cover that. So if you're thinking about, making a move up towards even just the top of the second round, you're going to lose one of those thirds and probably another late pick. That's just to get to pick 40. If you want to get higher than that, it's going to be more prohibitive. But if you feel like you can get a guy that in this year's class would be the type of guy you would have drafted in the first round, and you can get him at pick 40, it might be worth it.
Yeah, and I do think, the big takeaway for me from listening to Tony there, kind enough to join us, as he is every year when we're doing the draft stuff, it's another year where I think the Jags are going to be looking to address the interior defensive line. They're just not there.
Bro, let me ask you this, all right? See if you can guess along with me here. Spot Track puts a market value on defensive tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know how, out of all the defensive tackles who might be free agents, Tony, who is expected to draw the second highest average annual value contract if it plays out the way Spot Track sees it? This is a ridiculous question, right? Because you don't have the pool of guys. It's Calais Campbell. My point is,
they're just not out there.
How long has Calais been on this list? But they project John Franklin Myers market value around $8 million a year.
Oh, he'll get more than that.
Right. Yeah. These lists are as good. Like Jalen Phillips, young guy, tweener, can be seen as.
If it winds up at $8 million in a year, and we're not getting reports that the Jags were hot and heavy and just got turned out,
they'll find a way.
Mad.
Yeah, they would find a way to be a player at that price. But the guys that they expect to do the best, Jalen Phillips, again, young guy, he's going to be priced out of your range. Calais is second. David Onyemata, good, solid player, but he's not going to excite anybody. You know, is he just another one of these veteran types that we brought in this year that his best football is well behind him? He's 33 years old. Probably not going to go down that road. Logan Hall, another youngish guy from the Buccaneers, and Liam Cohen probably know a little bit about him, so that might be a name to keep an eye on. Franklin Myers, Sheldon Rankins. I mean, we're getting down to the range where you got a lot of guys north of 30, 31 years old.
Yeah, and it's more of you hear that kind of thing and you look at the available options in free agency. And in my head, what I start doing is, okay, I have to get comfortable with the fact that there's a very real possibility that they add one of these names, right? But it won't be a big impact guy on the interior of the defensive line. If they do draft a guy, it'll be a guy that everyone's like, I don't know. We'll see what happens with, like that kind of thing. So the impact on the interior is probably going to be Devon Hamilton and Eric Armstead for another year here in Jacksonville. So despite you feeling like that's their biggest need, that doesn't mean there's anything to fill those needs.
Unless there's a trade. And they're certainly willing to do that. They chased the Quinnen Williams deal last year. Probably willing to give up multiple first-round picks there. I mean, he would look good here, but, man, you wouldn't have a first-rounder for a long, long time around these parts. So, all right, with that said, we got today's question today. We'll get through in the final segment. Let's go around the National Football League.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Cleveland introduced Todd Monken as their new head coach yesterday. He was asked about Jim Schwartz and whether he would be returning as the team's defensive coordinator. Monken answered, quote, I said this to the other guys. I didn't think I'd say it, but I'm going to say it. When I was preparing for the Cleveland Browns, I wasn't trying to chip Jim Schwartz. I was chipping Myles Garrett, end quote. Jaguars linebacker Devin Lloyd told NFL.com at the Pro Bowl that he would prefer to stay in Jacksonville, but that he's not had any conversations with the team as of yet. Dallas wide receiver George Pickens, who is scheduled to be a free agent, was interviewed at the Pro Bowl, and he said he would love to return to Dallas, but, quote, when you can't control it, you kind of just hope for the best, end quote. At the NFL's annual Super Bowl week news conference for the NFLPA, the association's interim director, David White, said that the players have no appetite for an expansion to an 18th regular season game, which is being kicked around right now around league circuits.
The players feel like they're being kicked around, Tony, and then guess what's going to happen? They're going to take the best offer that the NFL ultimately makes them because they're generally showing that they're not willing to give up paychecks. Yep. You know, that's just the way it goes. All right, let's take our final time out here.
Roger Goodell is saying the players love being ambassadors for the sport in the international games. I don't think anyone told you that.
Yeah, he's projecting a little bit there. Yeah. All right, question of the day on Cam Ward's future in Tennessee. 5 years down the road, where do we see him? We'll weigh in on that as we get ready to wrap things up on the other side. Tony Smith, RJ Saunders, Mike Dempsey, Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song. Clearwater irrigation and drainage too.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Looking for a great way to give back and enjoy some friendly competition? Join us for Operation New Uniforms Veterans Cup on Friday, April 10th. This competitive clay shoot tournament is a fun afternoon on the range, followed by awards, a reception, and time to connect with others who care about supporting veterans. Your participation helps Operation New Uniform empower veterans, transitioning service members, and military spouses as they move into meaningful careers. Put your teams together and join us on April 10th. Register today at onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org.
Now here is my love. Newsflash, gang. Valentine's Day is coming, so guys, you gotta get with the program. And let's think outside the candy box. It's the Big Orange Chorus. They're back. You know the deal. The guys come out, they serenade your girl. 2 songs, a rose, a large Hershey's kiss, a greeting card, a photo with the group. All you got to do is call 355-SING or go to bigorangechorus.com. That's bigorangechorus.com. Virtual Valentine's also available, but order today at bigorangechorus.com.
It's your boy, Big Sirs, your lemon pepper guy. And we're in the red zone for the big game. You know I don't play when it comes to Wingstop. Here's the play call. You got to pre-order your wings by Saturday to beat the rush. Spend $50 or more, and I'm going to help you score a free large ranch. Just add the large ranch to your cart and use promo code BIGGAME. And check out that Wingstop app or wingstop.com. Spend just $50 on Wingstop pre-order by Saturday and add that free large ranch with your promo code BIGGAME.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
San Jose Collision in Mandarin is proud to be an I-CAR Gold Class collision repair facility. That means they meet the industry's highest training standards. Experience the difference at San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Jacksonville, you voted, and Baker Glass came out on top. The Bold City Best Awards are all about locals choosing their favorites, and you picked them for Best Auto Glass and Best Glass and Mirror Service.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars today on 1010XL.
All right, we got a lot to do in a little bit of time, which is usually the case around here as we're coming down to the home stretch here. Let's get John and Fernandina real quick before we get to today's Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day. John, what's on your mind this morning, buddy?
Hey, brother, can you hear me pretty clear?
Yes.
Super. What's on my mind is I love where you guys are at, talking draft, but I want to talk re-signing the nucleus that we have drafted first-rounders and can't let them walk away. And the number one is Travis Etienne. I think the guy is so important to our team. I don't think Tootin has his hands and catching ability, and nobody that's in our running back room right now can replace him. And I told him off air, I'm a legacy season ticket holder. I've been with this team from day one, and I can't emphasize enough my feeling that we can't just let people that we moved up into the first round get away. Now, I think Devin Lloyd also is one of those people, and I'm sure there's regrets about not getting that fifth-year option. But, he showed us one great year, and I don't think we can afford to keep him. So, I'm not stuck on trying to overspend, but we can't. Running back's not a real expensive position. We can't afford to let that guy get away from us.
All right, hey, John, let me jump in. I appreciate the thoughts here. Look, it's not relative to the other positions, but it is necessarily, if the Jags had the cap space for the Titans, Lloyd and Etienne will already be re-signed on this team, right? They don't. Right now, they're projected over the cap. They'll get under, But even though I mean, like, I want him back, but I don't want to break the bank. You got to be fit. I mean, that's the thing. They've got, yes, investment in this guy. They didn't make it, but they got a good return. I'd love to see him back, Tony. I mean, we'll see how they feel about it with the financials. There is a way to make it work, but what does that cost you? What does that keep you from adding to your football team either now or in the near future?
Yeah, I've gotten more and more comfortable with the idea of using the transition tag on ETN.
Me too.
If that's,
if you can clear that amount of space.
Right. Like, I'm actually at a point with it where I'm going to be a little disappointed if they don't. Right, because of how much I think he could mean to the team for one more year. To have him here, I don't need him on the 3-year.
Correct. I don't think a multi-year extension's in the cards.
Right, like, I don't need that. I would love to see him back for one more year. And if you could get that done at 8, I would love for you to get it done at 8. But from ETN's side, I'm not sure that would be enough for him to not test free agency. So the Jags' most available option in my head is going to be the transition tag, and I'd be very comfortable with that.
All right, today we thank Teresa Walker, the Associated Press, covering the Titans. Tony, our question, Titan-related. In 5 years, which of these do you think will be the closest to describe where Tennessee Titans quarterback Cam Ward is in his career? Is he A, a multi-time Pro Bowler, B, on a second contract with Tennessee, but not at that Pro Bowl consistent level, starting for another team, or D, someone's backup? How would you vote on this?
The last 3 options are really tempting, right? Like, you can make really good arguments for all of them. I'll lean towards second contract with Tennessee.
That's what I would too. I'm almost leaning towards multi-time Pro Bowler because he had to have turned it down this year, didn't he? I mean, come on. Everyone's going to be a multi-time Pro Bowler except for Fred Taylor by then.
Really funny if Cam had said yes.
Right. Does he make one more? Does he legit? When I say multi-time Pro Bowler,
borderline,
I'm thinking
he's a top 10 guy.
He got selected as a Pro Bowler, or like he's the first alternate. I'm not like if Shedeur Sanders. Do I consider him a Pro Bowler? Well, technically he is. So, yeah, sure, he's a Pro Bowler. But do I look at him the same way I'd look at a Josh Allen or a Joe Burrow or a Trevor Lawrence? Of course not. It's silly to think. Maybe it's wish casting. 39% of the folks say somebody's backup, whether that's Tennessee or somewhere else. 31.6 going with us on his second contract with Tennessee. Not necessarily a star. Starting for another team, which is interesting because we are kind of in the age of reclamation projects
Mayfield
now.
Donald route, yeah.
Yes, all right. Daniel Jones, another one. There are guys that have boosted their career, and it's seen as a more viable path now as you get some of the, whether it's the knuckleheadedness, the immaturity in terms of your game, your mental processing, whatever. You're more ready to go the second time around.
It's Geno Smith. Didn't work with the Jets, but he's been able to
Geno
play.
Smith was a flop this year, but he was a hell of a solid quarterback for a number of years. And he won 10 games last year with Seattle. Now, granted, they're in the Super Bowl this year, so they upgraded, no question about it. But, all right, so you can vote on that one if you haven't already, at MD _
somebody's backup is basically kind of the bust category.
Basically, right. I don't think he's out of the league, barring something unforeseen. But, that is basically saying he's a bust. I think he showed enough at the end of the year. You got to have a little patience with these guys. Tyler Shuck took half a year to beat out Spencer Rattler. But once he did, started playing really well. I saw in that ESPN redraft of last year's draft.
Did he go second?
He went second.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the value of the quarterback position. If they hit, if they don't, you take Zach Wilson second.
Slid down to 22, I think it was.
Not unfair. I don't think that's unfair based on what we saw in year one. All right. All that said, we are tying a bow on it and saying hello to XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
What say you, Matt Hayes? How are you?
I thought I read somewhere that somebody asked Drake May at Media Day, is the season a bust if you don't win?
Right. It's the long view, of course not, coming from 4 wins. But, man, what I've heard guys talk about, the difference between winning and losing a Super Bowl is like, they say it hurts more to lose it than it feels good to win it.
Yeah.
So you get that close.
History's evidence of that. Teams that lose the Super Bowl the next year, they struggle.
At times, they have.
Like we're watching it with Kansas City. Philadelphia won the Super Bowl last year. They were in the Super Bowl 2 years before that. The year after that, they just went bang.
Look, is the season a success for the Jags this year? Of course it is. They went from 4 to 13
It's a
wins.
huge
They won the
success.
division. But you feel like you left something on the table. I mean, there's always, it's like, is Mike Tomlin a success in Pittsburgh? Of course he is. He never has a losing season.
Yep.
But you reach a point where that's not good enough. We'll see where the Jags go. What are you reaching for today on primetime?
Super Bowl, all things Super Bowl. We're gonna get a little college football too, but mostly Super Bowl and the two quarterbacks and the impact of them on the game.
Yeah, man. Absolutely crazy when you think back, and there are reports that Minnesota tried to trade Darnold to the Vegas Raiders, and the Raiders are like, "Nah, we're good. We'll go with Geno." Like, you look at it now. I don't think
he's like a top 7 quarterback now, right? 7, 10.
I think he's getting that because he's in the Super Bowl. I think they in the middle of the season, they kind of protected him. He went through a stretch where he was throwing for like $180 every week, and they're relying on their defense.
He's had 2 really good years in a row.
I know he has been good. We also remember how he played in the biggest games last year for Minnesota.
Yeah.
He can erase some of that this time around. Look, he's going to get considered a top 10 quarterback if he wins the Super Bowl. I don't think
he was terrible in that playoff game last year, too.
Terrible in the season finale when they had a chance to lock up the number 1 seed as well. Anyway, Matt, have a great show. All
right, boys.
All right, XL Primetime coming your way for the next couple of hours, and then Helmets and Heels and the French Show, and on. We continue here. Let's see. Today, thanks again to Teresa Walker of the AP, covering Tennessee. Thanks to Taylor Dahl for hopping in for a segment from Helmets and Heels, and Tony Pauline from Essentially Sports getting us started on our draft preview. What's coming up tomorrow? Tune in and find out as we continue to chronicle the offseason for your Jaguars. Effort it. We've got some hooks in the water.
Yeah.
Do we get a nibble? We'll let you know tomorrow from 10 to noon. For Tony Smith and RJ Saunders, didn't call him by anyone else's name today, so that's a win for me. I'm Mike Dempsey. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Today here on 1010X.